Hey, folks! It's been a quite hot minute, but we're back with
Yeah.
another level up yours.
And last time we talked about wanting to try some different things. Now we're actually gonna do it.
Yeah. So if Jordan sounds a bit what's the word I'm looking for? A bit stilted, jumpy a bit in terms of his speech patterns. He's recording stuff for the subject of this level up yours, the
hmm
latest anime by Wit Studios, Vinland Saga. Something that I have been looking forward to for a very long time.
hmm Yep. He told me I needed to watch it, and so I did.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just a subject that I feel like could be a really big discussion point.
It really can. I had to study Scandinavian history for one of my archaeology classes,
Yeah,
so
and I've been reading the
like
manga
I get the
since
subject matter.
2014.
hmm
So I've been
So
waiting for
yeah,
this for a
I
long time.
imagine the manga is much further along than we are
Oh
on
God,
episode
yes.
6.
Oh God, yes. No question. I mean, the series has been publication since 2005, I believe.
Holy God.
Yeah,
Okay.
over 160 chapters, I believe, to this day.
Hmm.
Yep. So it's a long series, but when you're chronicling
Ah,
the life of a Viking explorer, that's something to be expected.
yeah, kind of is. Trying to get more of these mountain shots. They did some good mountain shots.
Yeah, the backgrounds in that series are really nice looking. So, if you
Yeah.
don't know what we're talking about, Vinland Saga is the latest anime to come out of Wit Studio, the animation studio behind Attack on Titan, as well as numerous other projects that I possibly could not list off. It's just Attack on
Hmm.
Titan's the most famous of their examples.
I can kind of see that now that I'm watching the show and I know they did Attack on Titan. I'm like, oh yeah, and probably some of the same people worked on this.
Yes, obviously.
Okay. Also, I did just notice Thorfinn's sister, episode 1, and I don't know if I'll show this footage or not, but yeah, they actually keep working on that freaking cloth ream, and each episode more and more of the cloth ream is done. So that's actually a really nice touch.
Yeah,
Like a little bit of continuity between episodes. I'm like, hey, that they finished a few more lines of cloth.
yeah. Gotta
That's really
appreciate
neat.
the small details. Like that whole segment in the episode 1 where Thorfinn's taking care of his livestock.
hmm
It was adorable.
Yeah.
So, I have been waiting for this series for a very long time. As I stated, I've been reading the manga for a very long time, and what got me excited was that when I heard this was announced, it was through the Twitter account of a man by the name of Giguk on YouTube, who's like a anime tuber, and I scared the hell out of my parents with how loud I was cheering. I was stomping
Nice.
around. I was woohooing like crazy. Like I'm so shocked that I didn't jump through the roof of my house and spin around the earth like Superman.
Trying to speed up time so you can get your Vinland Saga fixed.
Yes, exactly. But then of course I realized, okay, even though this was announced and that it's happening, that doesn't mean it could be good, as many Berserk fans could, attest to.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a Berserk fan. I get that.
Yeah, it had the potential to turn out horribly. Even if Witch Studios does make good shows, there is a very real possibility that it could be bad. Or if it's good, people won't pay attention to it.
Mhm.
Thankfully, thankfully, when the first 3 episodes dropped, it has been getting glowing reviews from a lot of people on YouTube I've seen, and the fact that people like it and that it's even a thing and that it's actually really well made just puts a smile on my face every time I think about it.
Yeah.
Like, 6 episodes are out as it stands right now, and episode 7, I've seen previews of episode 7. Episode 7 is going to start off the way book 1 starts off. So,
Oh, okay. So, like, this isn't following the manga exactly. Like, to me, I
no,
just thought they.
They
wrote it this way.
rearranged events and changed perspectives a bit, and even added a couple things compared to the manga, which I will get to in a second. But for those of you that don't know what Vinland Saga is about, it is about the journeys of a young man by the name of Thorfinn Karlsefni, whom, after witnessing the death of his father at the hands of a Viking leader by the name of Askeladd, he joins their band so that he can kill Askeladd in a proper duel.
Hmm.
And the series follows along in the 11th century or so between the War of Denmark and England.
Yeah, which
So,
is really cool.
yeah, it's a really cool thing, and it's a really different setting compared to where most historical manga would take place because, typically you think of, oh, they're going with the feudal war times, or maybe some other time. Like, rarely do we ever see anime's take on a type of
European
culture that
history.
is so far removed from their own.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, most anime aren't going to approach European history or European subjects many times. And we see in a lot of shonen that it's kind of a retelling of the journey to the West simply because it's more Asian centric. It's what their culture is.
Yeah,
And that's a good thing. But,
yeah,
uh, yeah, I actually really enjoy the fact that this is a European centric anime.
yeah, and
It's
I can
different.
count
Uh,
on my hand how many series I've seen so far that take place in places outside of Japan. Bacano, 91 Days, Banana
mhm.
Fish, uh,
Berserk.
Berserk, but that's a
Vinland
fictitious
Saga,
world.
Claymore. Um, yeah,
Point
there's
is,
a
it's not
few
done
more.
very
Yeah.
often.
Yeah, it's not very common that they broach outside of, you know, the Asian sphere.
Yeah. So obviously, learning about the series being a thing was really awesome and exciting, and I started to keep following up the news on Vinland Saga through like Twitter accounts and all sorts of things. The series' own website as well, keeping up with development and all that such. I was learning about the director, the script writers, the composers, and all this. And I started to get a bit skeptical because the composer was the same person that I think was composing the Tokyo Ghoul series, which
Oh,
which I'm gonna say kind of made me a little sad because I was like, oh, I was hoping they could get Yoko Kanno.
well, everyone wants Yoko Kanno, but
Everybody does, but
yeah,
to hear
I
her
like
do a
Tokyo
soundtrack
Ghoul
to a series
soundtrack,
that is
so
Scandinavian in root, God, that'd
mhm.
be amazing. It's not that like she hasn't done Icelandic stuff before. She's worked with an Icelandic singer for one of the past series she's composed for.
True. But I mean, I don't know. The music's good. The opening theme is a fucking bop if there ever was one, and there's plenty going on. The closing thing's very atmospheric. I enjoy it.
I am not really keen on the music as it stands right now.
Hmm.
Like everything else that Vinland Saga's got coming up to it, it is just without a doubt something that is a sight to behold. The animation is really good. The characters look so great. Like opening
Yeah.
shot from episode 1 had my jaw drop or slack a bit and I was like, "Oh my god, yes."
Yeah.
And
I'll admit, I do like some of the character designs. I will say that much.
yeah, because they look remarkably unanime. All of the guys are buffer than the typical anime
Okay,
shonen twanks.
you're right that they don't look like twinks, but
No,
I don't
not
know.
twinks,
It's
twanks.
I don't know why you're saying twank. Okay, I've never heard anyone use the term. It just sounds wrong. I'm gonna say twink. Um, yeah, no, you're right about the design, but it still is heavily anime inspired. The eyes are a little larger, but they're more of rectangular and almond shape rather than the more expressive eyes most people give anime. There's a lot more detailing to, like, wrinkles and stuff in the face. but it does still look like anime, especially in the far shots. There's certain clips of characters that make me think, oh, that could have been a Naruto character, actually. Um,
Well,
it
in any case, it
just changed the
looks unique
clothing. It
enough.
looks good. Yeah, no, it looks different. I mean, I don't usually see anime characters with ocular helmets.
Yeah. Or even anime characters that have a square jaw.
I'll give you that. Most people have a very like almond shaped face. These people definitely get a few other face shapes.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I'm glad they got, um, the way. Okay, so going a bit rambly here, but as somebody that has been reading this manga for a very long time, I wasn't expecting a one-to-one adaptation. You know, I expected that there were going to be some things rearranged, but I wasn't expecting the way they'd rearrange it. Like, the way they rearranged it really kind of made me raise an eyebrow. Not in like, why would they do this, but more like a,
Mhm.
huh, so that's the direction they chose.
All I can say is, so far, episode one may be one of my favorites. Just because they have a lot of really, really eye-catching moments. Like I just saw the guy get his face ripped off by a chain.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And
with
I just love
Halfdan.
when they zoom in on the chain and it's got little flecks of hair and flesh caught in it. And I'm like, okay, that's something I don't see often in any form of animation. Like, I like this. I like this a lot.
Yeah, that kind of attention to detail, and how Halfdan is like cartoonishly slave driving, where he's like, chains are the only necklaces that look good on men.
I'm okay with that though. That's actually kind of nice. I'm like, okay, yeah, make this much of a dick as you can. Like, go for it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But that whole segment there, though, the one where Thor's is going through everything with Thorfinn's childhood, that is stuff that isn't the first thing discussed in Volume 1. It is in Volume 1, but not until like the end.
Yeah, so I'm guessing like Thorfinn gets a lot more flashbacks
Well,
in the manga.
actually, it's only really one. There isn't very many flashbacks to his past,
Huh.
except for maybe two instances in the early volumes. But after that, no flashbacks.
Hmm.
Just enough to learn his motivations, and that's it.
Oh wow. So like a lot of this stuff with his dad and childhood may have been added in.
Yeah. In fact,
Wow.
episode 5
That's
is entirely anime original.
That actually is really impressive. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I haven't read the manga. Color me impressed. I actually really enjoy that they added that.
Yeah,
That's
and
really
that
cool.
whole first half area or so of episode 6, that is also anime original. Everything from Thorfinn being nursed back to health by that old English woman and her daughter, up
Hmm.
to Thorfinn burning that house to signal Askeladd to come in, that
Oh,
that was in the manga. But everything before that, and including episode 5, anime original.
wow. Well, color me impressed. I mean that's something right there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying
I
it's
would
not
say it's
appreciated. You know, I liked it because it showed more growth from Thorfinn's childhood than the manga touched upon.
mhm. Gave him
And
more of a reason.
yeah, and I'm gonna guess that the reason why they did that is because they might end the manga at a certain point where I'm not going to spoil it, but I might have an idea as to where Vinland Saga could end in terms of like if this is season 1 or something.
Hmm.
Like if this is kept at a season 1, I know exactly the perfect place for it to end and it could reach that quota. But if it's going to get a season 2, it's a perfect stopping off point to let some more stuff happen afterwards, but allow season 1 to stand on its own.
Hmm.
So clearly, they do want to flesh Thorfinn out a bit more than he was in the manga. Not that he's not a fleshed out character, but in the wake of like, you know, people that have watched this anime series likely not have ever read the manga. So they might want
Yeah,
to give
like
more
me.
detail as to how Thorfinn learned to kill, learned to use a dagger, drew to the conclusion about how he could be fighting Askeladd as opposed to killing him in his sleep.
Yeah, I don't know. That scene to me was just like, oh god, you had such an easy chance to just end it.
But that's not the
Drive
Warriors' way,
forward.
Jordan. That's not the Warriors' way.
Honey, there's been hundreds and hundreds of warriors through history have done that exact thing. It's
It's
about
not the
getting
Warriors'
victory.
way. It's
It's
not
about
the
getting
way.
victory any way possible.
But it's not Thorfinn's way.
Yeah, I get it. He's
God, I
honorable and all.
cannot do that click. There you go.
Yeah, he's honorable. He's got the honor.
Yeah, the honor of
But
Odin. Which leads
honor
us
of Odin.
into the action. What do you think of the fight scenes?
Honestly, they have their moments. Okay, there's some of it I don't like, especially like Thorfinn. Later, like episode 6, I see he keeps underhanding his dagger when it makes no sense. I like that they gave him a reason to have figured out, hey, don't swing this thing around willy nilly. It's a stabbing weapon. We stab with it. Um, the weight of the weapon feels pretty good. I like that he was off balance using a larger blade. I loved Thorfinn when his dad was fighting Askeladd. That was a good fight scene. I like that they made that anime disappearance or that teleport trope actually have some weight to it by showing he used a falling piece of debris to kind of hide himself from the view of his opponent. I was
Wait,
like, oh, that actually is cool because you're using an anime trope, but giving it weight. You're giving it a reason for existing. Um, but yeah, a lot of it's real fantasy esque. Uh, I mean, the Berserker felt okay. Like he felt like a heavy hitter, like he should be. I liked seeing him toss his own men around. I'm like, okay, okay, I like this so far. But I just come from the school of thought of a sword fight. In all honesty, usually doesn't last longer than 15 seconds.
right.
So when I see them depicting, like a historical fight, and I see all these blocks and things that aren't like true parries, but you see like, oh, the blade is glanced. He already has an opening, but then they explain like 30 seconds later, oh, he keeps doing this, waiting for an opening. It's like, no, he could have stabbed him in the neck 3 times if he just grabbed that arm after, he flung the blade to the side. Like, this could have been over 10 times already. You just kill someone and then you move on to the next target. You
Well,
just
except
bam,
Thor's is
bam,
trying
bam.
not to kill.
Yeah, but when it's a duel like that, that's where like when they were saying, Thor's was looking for an opening, I was like, I saw 3 points where he could have just ended this. Just shank him, be
But he's
done
not
with it.
trying to kill.
Yeah, well, that's his problem. you know? Could have
It's,
still been there for his son, could have probably
it's
had
not
a
his
cool
fault that you're
mystery plot.
bloodthirsty.
Hey, it's not bloodthirst, it's just being pragmatic.
Well, I mean, he
Okay?
was intentionally going for Askeladd's sword. Like,
Yeah. I know that. I get that. That's what they said. And, the sword shatters, but I'm just like, dude, just kill him and be done with it. Like, I saw what you did to all the other chumps with your bare hands. Like, just kill
ladies,
him.
get
Be
yourself
done
a
with it.
man that's so strong he can break a guy's arm by pushing his elbow backwards.
You can actually do that.
But
That would not be your one,
as for
actually.
the fantastical parts of that fight, or of pretty much all the fights that you've seen, I agree that it can probably break a lot of people's immersion with the whole realism thing, but I think it emphasizes the kind of, I don't want to say, there's no other word I can use for this, a power gap between Thorfinn as he was as a child compared to these larger than life warriors.
Yeah, definitely. And I liked seeing that, other soldiers, like during the raid, they're going down with arrows. I'm like, okay, there is a weight to combat. Like, these aren't all superhuman freaking berserkers going crazy.
Yeah, like nobody's going to be jumping 10 feet in the air, or no, 40 feet, and I don't know, deflecting arrows with their neck muscles or something. I mean, you saw episode four's ending. Thor's takes all those arrows.
Well, I mean, at least he dies within a minute, just like
Yes.
he's bleeding out. I'm okay with that.
Yes.
I mean,
Like like
bullets and arrows don't you get shot and you go flying 10 feet. No, they just get stuck in you or they pass through you. I mean, that's what they do.
yeah, it's what they do. And
So yeah, he
funnily
got
enough, when
turned into a
Thor's
pincushion. You
yeah,
know,
and my
might
best friend
be very
Hank, who's
fitting.
been with us in previous videos, sorry to interrupt, but he was watching this series too because I've been, telling him like, listen, man, this series is going to be special. You need to watch this. He he said that when Thor's was getting pelted with arrows, because of how strong Thor's is and how he was depicted, he half expected Thor's to turn to Askeladd and said, "Is that it?"
Okay, I'm glad that didn't happen. That would have just been like, I would have thrown the series away and been like, I ain't watching another episode. You're no Kinpachi. Nah, we ain't doing this. We ain't doing this.
I would have laughed my ass off.
Oh, God, no. I'm glad that didn't happen. Like, that was a good point for him to die. Just, he accepted his death honorably. We all are, we all got like a little tear building in our eye at that point. We're like, yep, he's going to Valhalla. He's earned his place at the table.
Oh yeah, like
You know.
God, if you saw episode 1 with his fight scene with Thorkel, who's
Mhm.
the Thorkel's the really big guy with the axe from the episode 1, by the way.
Okay.
And for anybody
Like,
sticking with the series, he will make a reappearance.
oh boy. But, like, I feel we're honestly discussing too much about what is in these episodes. Like, if anything, spoiler warning, way too late for this stuff, I know, but yeah, like, I feel like we've revealed over half of what's in the current episode, so go ahead and skip to episode 7 when it's out. You're probably all caught up now.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, considering the series started in July, like early July, people
Mhm.
had time, you know? They
Yeah.
surely have other anti-tubers to follow that have said, like, hey guys, don't sleep on Vinland Saga. So they're likely just also. Everybody's likely seen at least some of it already.
Yeah, probably. I mean, me, because I do a lot of work on my own, I help with my mother and stuff now since she's been out of the hospital. If I watch anything, especially anime related, I usually wait until there's a dub. But
Hmm.
due to, you really wanted to talk about this, I didn't. I'll say that's one reason I usually keep falling behind. I just don't usually make enough time in a day to read a cartoon.
Yeah, I understand that completely. I mean, I hope I hope a dub happens of this. I hope Vinland Saga gets picked up by High Dive like Made in Abyss did.
That'd be amazing,
It would be
actually.
so good. And then
But
Sentai Filmworks
this
could
is
do like a
one I
DVD
think.
release.
Mhm. This is really one series where I feel like I didn't detect it, and maybe it's because I've only taken high school Japanese, but when Thorfinn is in that village with like the woman and her daughter, they're both speaking Japanese as far as I'm
I
concerned.
was
So I was like, this whole he doesn't speak English, he's a Dane, and all of that. I'm like, it would be really cool if maybe, I don't know, they were speaking Cantonese or something.
My hand is to my
Like,
face right now. Okay, so
I understand suspension of disbelief is supposed to be a thing for this, you know? They're
mhm,
speaking English. He's speaking either Icelandic or a different Scandinavian language, since a
yeah.
lot of languages in the Scandinavian regions have a lot of similarities.
hmm And that's one thing where, like, if they were to dub this, I wouldn't mind if, say, because we know how, they spoke in even Shakespeare's time, and it's pronounced a lot differently than how we read it now. Like, if they just took someone who knew an older dialect of English and had them speaking that and then have him speak in normal English.
Yeah, or,
That way
or
it's like, okay, these are Anglican people or something. Like they're speaking a different dialect. They might not be able to fully understand each other, but to our ears today, we can piece it together enough.
yeah, or at the very least have them speak with a slightly noticeable Norse accent.
Yeah. Or I would love that for all the Vikings. Just like give them all accents. I would
Yeah.
love that.
Although
And
we
then
don't
just,
really know
have
how
the
many
British people
people
sound
will
cool.
actually. Sorry, what were you saying?
And then just have the Brits sound like Brits, and I just want a couple hundred Monty Python dudes dying in a battle scene. That's all I want, That'd be great.
Well, I mean, hell, one of the very first scenes in the manga is where two guards are speaking to I say teenage Thorfinn in Frank.
Oh, dude, it would be great? That
What?
first time Thorfinn stabs someone in the chest with the dagger, and he's like, "Oh, you little shit," and he goes and he tries to hit him with the sword. Like, right then and there, just instead of that, go ahead and make him go, "Knee!" Just, he's the knight who says knee, and then he
Oh
dies.
God. Oh God.
I
Or
would do
God
that
forbid,
with
like
a
have a
dub.
blooper scene based off of the Spam Vikings.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh,
But I don't
like
know. I
I'm not
always
a big
appreciate
Monty
it.
Python fan, so anytime I get a chance to parody Python, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and
Because I get
about
it.
the
Like,
whole other languages and anime thing, I always appreciate it whenever there's a level of multilingualism in anime. I mean,
yeah,
when
this is just
Megalobox,
a series that needs it. Like,
yeah.
I feel it would only build
Oh God,
quality.
like if there was a segment in the series where the characters spoke like fluent Icelandic, a turd would fall out of my pants and burrow a hole in the ground due to how shocked I would be.
But that would be amazing. Like,
It
I would
would.
love, like, say if there's a conversation in the background of the episode. I don't know. They could be talking about hot dogs for all I care. But they're talking about hot dogs in Slavic or something. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I need. Like, I'm not even listening to them. I'm not gonna hear them very well. They're background characters. They're the mumblings. They're there just to build the world. But I would love it. Like, only the main characters are speaking English, so we can understand them. But everything else is like in Scandinavian, Slavic. Heck, just any of those languages you'd expect to hear, or just something with a bit more flavor.
Yeah. And again,
Like, I
suspension
don't
of
know why I'm
disbelief.
going to Slavic, but I'm just like, right now I'd like to hear some Slavic.
Yeah, and again, suspension of disbelief is supposed to be a thing for this
Yeah.
because, in our heads, we're supposed to think, okay, Thorfinn is originally Icelandic, he doesn't understand English, but
Hmm.
when the God, when he picks up that piece of wood that's on fire and he says Nigero or Nikero or
Yeah, run.
whatever,
He
yeah,
just tells
run.
him
I
run.
expected to hear an English run, like
Like, maybe he heard someone in the town or something say like run or walk or something,
yeah.
and he's pointing at the forest. That would be cool because like he's been at least with these people a day. He might have picked up some kind of word for movement if he saw
Yeah.
anything like go fetch the goats or something.
Yeah.
And he might have said like fetch or something, but he just points at the wood like, I saw you leave out the door when she said this, so I'm pointing at the woods. Fetch the woods.
Yeah.
Something. Like, that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I always appreciate that kind of stuff. Like, when Megalobox was airing, once more, my friend Hank told me about how two minor characters who were Spanish and American, respectively, or were Mexican, or Latino.
Yeah. Latino.
One was a Latino character and one was American, and this was in sub. They had them actually speak Spanish and English, respectively.
I'm okay with that. Like, that makes sense.
Like, I feel like people need to take advantage of these settings, but I can understand having that kind of voice talent be able to be multilingual in a language that
Hmm.
could be rarely, if ever, spoken in Japan. That's a lot to
Oh,
ask
yeah.
for.
This is true, especially because, yeah, the Japanese culture usually doesn't have as many foreign immigrants, etc., working in voice talent.
Yeah.
But for, dubs, there's almost no reason not to.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, the biggest dubbing corporation is here in Texas. So anytime you have a Latino character, trust me, half of us here in Texas know a fair bit of Spanish. we'll do it.
That's why I moved up
Like,
to Iowa,
please,
because I didn't
let's
learn
do
any
it.
Spanish.
You see, I learned a bit. I took my first year, and then I worked at McDonald's for about a year and a half, and I got the morning shift a lot. So I learned what I needed to.
Fair enough.
Like, there were enough people speaking Spanish that I was like, okay, I need to know a little bit more than just,
But then we'll all
gracias.
be. But
So,
then with this series, we'll all be content when a Scandinavian dub comes out.
amen. Or Icelandic or Slavic or anything.
Yeah.
Like, I really do want to hear just some kind of European voice cast take this on.
Yeah.
Again, I would actually be cool if it never got an English dub, because this is one I feel I could watch one of those films, It's an art film almost, and you don't really care that it's in a language. It's just a good watch.
Yeah. I mean, in general, the series is really good. I mean, I'm speaking as somebody who's, again, been reading this for a while, and
Yeah.
I can vouch that this is, if they do this properly, this is a special series. The only thing that I could say is letting me down, like I said earlier, is the music. Like, you said you liked the music, and there were a couple songs that there are a couple pieces that I was like, all right, this is a nice piece for the atmosphere, but for the rest of it, I just kind of background noised it.
Well, to me, that's just music and anime in general. It's rarely ever important. And for me, the main thing that I judge is, does the music get in the way?
Yeah.
None of the songs have gotten in the way. Like, I'm not so jarred by something being played that I'm like, oh, dude, this doesn't belong.
Well,
Uh,
I'm not talking about in terms of jarring. I'm just talking about, like, it's. I'm waiting for the signature song for this series to drop. Like, Vinland Saga's equivalent of Space Lion or Tank, or Vinland Saga's equivalent of just the song that people associate only with this. You
gotcha.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that is a fair complaint, I would say, because the music here really doesn't have its own flavor, even for being such a period piece.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like,
That makes sense as a complaint to me,
because this is a
you're
series
right.
that takes place in 11th century Europe. So why not take advantage of that and maybe have some kind of period style instrumentals or something, or vocals? Like,
Yeah, no, I actually give you that. Okay, like, if that's what you're going, then I can go with that. That makes sense.
yeah,
Because yeah, you could definitely do a lot to make this sound more period, or even if it's inauthentic, just give it more of a Middle Ages kind of vibe. I mean, let's face it, everyone's in chainmail.
yeah,
You
or
could get away with it.
or if not that much, just be able to make that one song that when hearing it will make people's skin crawl or shiver or whatever. Like the song that makes them feel Vinland Saga.
Yeah.
Because without it, the series to me would be a 9 out of 10. And I would almost equate it to be like you're dating a girl that you've been going out with for a while, and you're liking each other up, and then you find out later that she puts her milk in before her cereal. It's not a deal breaker, but you're gonna give her some funny looks for a while.
I mean, it's the right way to do it.
The hell just came out of your mouth? What the hell just came out of your mouth?
I had to.
Can we get some F's in the comments, people?
Yeah, F to pay respect to my cereal.
Yeah, pay respect to your goddamn Fruity Pebbles. Oh my god. Oh man, you just broke my whole argument in half. I was half expecting you to be like, oh yeah, I get what you mean. But no, you apparently are one of those people?
I'm not. I just had to be a troll.
God damn it. Alright, so, but you get my idea though, right? You get what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just,
I mean, it's kind of hard to pour the milk first when I only like those single cups of cereal where you open the top and the cereal's already there.
fair enough. But you get what I'm saying though, right? Like,
Oh, I do.
yeah, there's just I'm just wanting Vinland Saga to get that one song that makes you feel the series' themes and ideas. And I almost felt that in the first episode when Thor's is like waking up in that field of grain and you hear that piano piece, and I was like, okay, that could be it. And the same theme plays over when Thor's is telling that escaped slave about Vinland, and I was like, okay, this might be the theme for Vinland. But, nothing's really been solidified yet. Again, the series only has 6 episodes.
Yeah.
But as it stands, it's still really good so far.
Oh yeah, no, I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, I've been just smiling every time a new episode comes out. It just makes me smile so much. So, I guess with that, that's mostly the talking points that I've got, because I don't want to spoil anything in the manga that people haven't seen yet. Because
Yeah,
trust
we don't
me,
want to get too far ahead.
yeah, trust me, there's some good stuff coming. Some really, really good stuff coming. Like, for instance, that guy in the first episode, Thorkel, he does really make a reappearance. And for episode 7, it is starting where Volume 1 starts out.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because honestly, I didn't know where it was starting or, anything like that. I'm just following along. I catch an episode, and I'm like, hello,
Yeah, and
what are we looking at today?
yeah, so you're going to be seeing Thorfinn now. From episode 7 onward, you're going to be seeing Thorfinn at a point that he's going to be at for, I say, for quite a few episodes. Like, you saw in episode 6 how aged up he was getting as he was, continuing Askeland's band. His hair was getting longer, he got fleas, he's getting
I love
taller.
that.
Oh, and by the way, he's actually also really short. Like,
Yeah, I
even in
kinda
his
know.
even in his adult years, he's actually shorter compared to most other guys. But that adds his ability of being really nimble. He's rogue. He's a rogue fighter.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what we've had to say about this. So yeah, Vinland Saga. It's great so far. I like it. Jordan likes it. My friends like it, and a lot of other AndyTubers like it. Go check it out on Amazon Prime if you have it.
I'm liking it. It's a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Check it out if you got the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't mind subbed animes. Or
Yeah.
just wait till the dub comes out.
Yeah. I mean, just make sure the series gets the appreciation that it deserves, so that way it does get picked up with a dub. Because, trust me, there are going to be plenty of series that suffer the eternal sub-it-only option on Amazon Prime. I fear that's what Dororo is going to have.
I really do hate that. Because, honestly, a lot of good shows have come to Amazon Prime. Like, I admit, I never got Amazon Prime expecting to watch shows. I got it for the 2-day shipping, but this, The Tick, what was that rom-com anime we like?
Wotakoi.
Yeah, Wotakoi. I mean, there's a couple good ones on here. I'm like, man,
Oh god, yeah.
hey, y'all are,
And as I just mentioned, Dororo is awesome. It's really
yeah, like,
good.
I've seen Dotaro. I ain't even heard of that, but you know.
Dororo? Okay, so this will be sort of a bonus recommendation for everybody watching this and to you, Jordan. Dororo is great. I have a watercolor a watercolor painting that a painter did of the series. It's really good. A basic summary of it is that it takes place in Warring Stage Japan, and this lord named Daigo wants to make his land more prosperous. So in order to do so, he relinquishes his belief in Buddha and makes a deal with 42 demons, I believe. No, 12.
Oh.
12 demons.
Oh,
And
okay.
obviously there's a price to pay, and the price to pay was that his newborn son, who was being born at the time of him making this deal, gets parts of his body taken, like his spine, his nose, his eyes, his ears, his limbs. Pretty much the child is born only as like a lump of muscle and organs.
All right. I mean, that's a deal with the devil right there. I mean, At that point, once it's born, I'd probably throw it in a fire.
Well, that's what Daigo tries to do. But then,
Oh, you see, he's a man of culture. I get it.
well, sadly, though, he handed it to a midwife that felt sorry for the thing, that drifted it off in a boat down a river. The child grows up being raised by a man that made him an entire prosthetic body. It's anime, don't question it.
Yeah.
And
Oh boy.
that child then learns, like, oh, hey, there are these demons that it can kill, and suddenly parts of my body come back. So now it's his quest to travel the countryside, slaying demons to recover the parts of his body that he lost. And as another little tidbit, this is an adaptation from a manga from the 60s, written and drawn by the man who made Astro Boy.
Okay, I'm in. I'm in. That's all you needed to tell me. Why'd you give me all the story crap?
Because I just wanted to see your reaction for the very end there.
Okay, yeah, no, you tell me it's from the dude who did Astro Boy. I'm in, man. Like, Astro Boy. I love Devilman and all those old freaking manga. Like, let's get in on this. Hell yeah.
Yep. And again, that is Dororo. Dororo.
Sweet.
So I guess that's our little anime segment. I do want to add a little bit of news, a little game news at the end of this, just to brighten everybody's day.
Well, fair warning, it's going to take me a few days to edit this, so don't date yourself too much.
Okay. So I'm not going to say when this came out, but recently there was a trailer that unveiled for Pokemon Sword and Shield revealing new Did you say oh no?
Oh no. We're going to get the Pokemon nerds.
Well, don't worry. This isn't going to be anything controversial. So, it just revealed like a new Pokemon that was the Pikachu mascot for the Galar region, as well as two Galarian forms of Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimstyle Dimmadome.
Yeah, the Doug Dimmadome Weezing. I'm gonna nickname it. I'm gonna nickname my Galarian Weasling Doug Dimmadome.
I think we all are.
But on the subject of nicknames in Galarian forms, the Octagoon, I believe the name was, for Linoon's evolution in Galar.
Yeah, it's Zigzagoon, but now it's like Octa or Punkagoon or something.
Yeah, a lot of people started drawing similarities about how that Pokemon looks a lot, or at least is reminiscent of the members of the band Kiss.
Yeah, I saw that.
And some people were like, oh man, I want to name mine after Gene Simmons. This got so viral, it was to the point where Gene Simmons himself said on Newsweek that if this was an homage to them, he felt honored because he has apparently let Pokemon be a part of his family's life for so long, ever since his kids discovered it.
Cool.
So, there you go, folks. It's not just bring back National Dex controversies. There's some legitimate wholesomeness here. Wholesome.
I love it.
So
yeah, now the more I rewatch these scenes and I'm not actually trying to read subtitles, the more I like this anime for its animation.
Oh god, yeah. Like, that's the thing about dubs that is a benefit for anybody that, doesn't really watch subs very often. The whole switching back and forth between subtitles and image, that can get a bit obnoxious for an action-centric series. That's why for a lot of subbed anime I watch, it's usually either slice of life, comedy, or romance, because those aren't really visually dense,
intensive
series.
Yeah,
so that's
now that I'm watching this more, just like scene for scene, it actually looks a whole lot better than I was remembering.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Like, I was like, when you were praising it, I was like, it looks good, but I don't know if it's as worthy as what you're saying. Now that I'm watching it like on its own, seeing some of the reflections in the metal and shit, I'm like, okay, this actually looks really great.
Yeah, like that scene where Thorfinn pulls the dagger out of the sheath for the first time, and you see his reflection in the blade.
No, I haven't gotten that far yet. I literally just got the freaking battle with Thorfinn's dad.
All right,
like,
well.
It took this long just to get to that point. Recording clips. Because if we do further anime discussions in the future, I'm going to go ahead and probably use some Vinland Saga clips. So I'm just building a backlog. That'll put in another folder.
Fair enough. So I guess with that being said, that should end this nice little discussion over Vinland Saga. Go watch
Yeah.
it.
Watch it, boys.
Go watch it. And
Yeah.
with that, with that closing statement, hope you guys are well for the rest of the day, and be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to spread this video around to anybody else that's curious about Vinland Saga.
Click that bell for notifications.
Click the bell. Ding,
Ding dong.
fries are done.
Ding dong.
Ding dong. So yeah, catch you later, guys.
Yep.